Welcome to the Rotary Club of Beaumont, the 72nd club founded in the world, where our members serve to change lives. Those on Zoom are asked to please mute your microphones. And those of us here, take a minute to check in to Rotary on your Facebook page. Today, for invocation, we are going to have Jennifer Gregory, Human Resources Officer, Beaumont Housing Authority. Pledges will be led by Wayne Holland, Executive Vice President, Commercial Lending, Community Bank of Texas. Introduction of guests by Chuck Hare, First Vice President, Wealth Management, UBS Financial Services, Inc. Jennifer?
Good afternoon. If we could pause and reflect as I read the Serenity Prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Living one day at a time, enjoying one moment at a time, accepting hardship as a pathway to peace, taking, as Jesus did, this sinful world as it is, not as I would have it. Trusting that you will make all things right if I surrender to your will, so that I may be reasonably happy in this life and supremely happy with you forever in the next. Amen.
Amen.
Please join me in the pledge to our flags. Pledge allegiance to the flag
And
to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
It's my privilege to introduce the guests today. If you will stand when I call your name, stand with your Rotary host, we'll recognize you. Uliana, goodness. Uliana, we have a number of people, guests of Uliana Tralowski, Christine Stetson, Marlene Swerdlow, let's see, Kathy Speidel, Kathy Baker, and Lauren Themey. Deborah Drago brought Stephanie Van Skyke, Hillary Shanning, Lynn Hill brought Diana Miles, and Jess Prince. Accompanying Craig Escamilla today is Michelle Kuhn, Joanne Brown brought Courtney White. Cheryl Bellew brought Michael Bellew. Jennifer Gregory brought Tanya Castellan. Cherie Pierce brought Sarah Wells. Bill Allen brought Krista Hunter. What happened there? Yeah, some names crossed out. Kim Johns has joined us. She's a proposed Rotarian. And then, of course, our speaker, Brenna Rodriguez. Welcome.
Thank you, Chuck. That was a long list today, and it's wonderful to see that so many guests are here. Next on the agenda, we have Joanne Brown, President-elect, who is going to introduce new members.
Thank you, Vice President Uliana Trelowski, and to my fellow Rotarians, it's a pleasure to introduce you today to two new members. I think that we all remember those days when we were Red Badge members, and I encourage you to get to know these fabulous people. Brian Shazari is an intelligence specialist with the U.S. Coast Guard Reserves in Beaumont, Texas. He wanted to join Rotary because of Veterans Outreach and the Flags project that Rotary engages in. He would best like to serve Rotary through his community outside of uniform and contribute to the betterment of the Beaumont community. He has been with the Coast Guard for 20 years, 15 years as an active member, 5 years as a reservist. He is currently serving as an intelligence specialist in the reserves component and also works in the Coast Guard emergency management. Brian is a bagpiper and has been playing for 30 years in a band in Beaumont and in the U.S. in the U.S. Coast Guard Bagpipe Band. He loves history, loves collecting historical items from the 18th and 19th centuries. Most recently, he has begun to restore 1950s television sets. So please help me in giving a warm welcome to Brian Shazari. Also joining Rotary today is Angie Hebert. Angie is the Vice President of Communications and Physician Development at the Medical Center of Southeast Texas. Angie is a Beaumont native. I proposed Angie, so I'm very proud for that relationship. She is excited to serve in community projects with youth and is willing to offer any service to the public relations component of Rotary. Angie is from Beaumont. She's been involved in the community for years. She has a 5-year-old son, Liam, and a 10-year-old stepdaughter, Poppy. Her family hikes, travels, spends time on their family farm. Please join me in welcoming Angie Hebert. Thank you, Rotarians.
Thank you, President-elect Joanne Brown. Okay, where am I on my program? Oh, here we go. Okay, so we have some committee announcements. I wanted to thank those who planned and hosted the Rotary After Hours last week. Amanda Ellis, are you here? Thank you. And Kevin Reed with the Reed Realty Group who underwrote the appetizers. Thank you. We also had an excellent delegation at the district training last Saturday. I wanted to recognize past President Cindy Cherry, past President Tim Sudella, President-elect Joanne Brown, along with Diane Bass and Rebecca Patton, who represented us wonderfully at the event. Lynn Hill, Board Liaison for Community Service Projects. Can you come up and tell us about BISD ROAR, please?
Good afternoon, Rotarians and guests. I wonder why she's up there. I don't know. Well, I'm glad you asked. Okay, what do we need to do? We need volunteers for Rotary Roar, SOAR, and our upcoming Nest. So all that you need to do, remember the easy was go to www.bmtisd.com. Go in, go fill out click the volunteer link, fill out your application. The group, now we have a group for Rotary, so you're going to click Rotary. That way I'll be notified that we have volunteers. Easy. Remember, the easier way is to go to the Rotarygram, and Jackie has put a link in the Rotarygram that will take you directly to the volunteer site. That way you can sign up and be enlisted as a volunteer. The easiest way, I didn't bring my laptop today, Teresa's not here, but if you come up to me, I will sign you up. And that way you can be in, sign up to volunteer. We have children who nationwide are behind because of the pandemic. So they have things in place. So one thing that we could help, there are also children who did well online. They need enrichment. So you can work with those children that need enrichment. With ROAR, it's second grade reading. With SOAR, you could work with any grade level, any subject. So please sign up. And if you have already signed up, go to the Club Runner app, either send me a text message or an email so I can compile a list so we can go ahead and get the volunteers started. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Lynn Hill. Yeah, how many of you graduated from a school in the BISD? So, this is your chance to give back and help the BISD. John Lee, we need to hear from you about our community service project, please.
Anybody here that's ever slept on the floor? When you wake up in the morning, it's not the greatest feeling in the world. Some of us may have done that inadvertently. We won't talk about those days. I'm past that. But there's a group in town called Sleep in Heavenly Peace. We've worked with them many times in the past. And on October 23rd, we're going to be delivering beds. The difference this time is this is a joint project between the Rotary Club of Beaumont, the Rotary Club of Port Arthur, 100 Black Men of Greater Beaumont, and Rotaract Club at Lamar University. So all four groups are going to be getting together. We will meet at 2950 Milam, which is the warehouse for Sleep in Heavenly Peace. It's right at the corner of Milam and 4th Street at 8 o'clock, Saturday, October 23rd. We'll split up into teams and then go to some of these places, homes where people need these, assemble the beds. And when we deliver these, we bring them into the house, we set up the bed, we put the mattress on it, we put the sheets on it. When we leave, the bed is ready to be slept in. And for anybody that has done this project, and I know there's quite a few people in the room that have, it is very rewarding. And believe me, you are doing something that is making a difference for kids in our town. So please come join us on October 23rd. Thank you.
That's a wonderful project. Okay, so now we have past District Governor Becky Mason, who's also a Junior League past president, who is going to introduce our speaker today.
Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in your spectrum of time. The Junior League of Beaumont is celebrating 75 years of service this year. Our speaker today is the president, Brenna Rodriguez. She's from Kirbyville. She earned a Bachelor of Business Management degree from Lamar University, and she especially enjoys serving in the resource development area of Junior League. Spinnings, which is the league's monthly publication, and the Education Committee. The Junior League of Beaumont, or JLB, and Beaumont Rotary Club have many, many connections, including a shared mission, commitment to community service, and doing what we can to make the world a better place. Junior League's motto is Women Building Better Communities. Rotary's motto is Service Above Self. I had intended to introduce everyone who had a connection to both. For example, the wife is a member of one, the husband is a member of the other, or someone who is a member of both, etc. I quickly realized it was way too many people to announce your names. So at this point, if you fit into one of those categories, stand up. If you're a member of Junior Leaguer or your spouse or you as a member of the Rotary Club. All right. Very good. Very good. So through a shared connection and our shared commitment to service, we work to make a strong impact for good. And we make Beaumont and Southeast Texas a better place to live. So help me welcome Junior League of Beaumont President Brenna Rodriguez.
Oh, I need the clicker. Okay. So thank you for having me today and able to speak. I don't think it's coming up. We're gonna wait. Okay, perfect. Really just to be here and share our mission, share our work of really who we are, what we do, and how we do it. The League has a rich history. We are celebrating 75 years of 1946 when the League joined the Association of Junior Leagues International. So that connects us even to a larger organization. Does it go this way? Okay. But our history begins even before that. 38 women in 1937 joined the Welfare League of Beaumont. And here on the slideshow, you can see the first ever president. And in the time, that is Mrs. R.R. Jackson, who took charge of the league and became the first president. Our large organization, our movement, they decided in 1901. So the International Association is celebrating 100 years of impacting community. Junior League is one of the largest organizations globally across 4 countries and a network of 295 leagues. That is 195 women out there trying to impact our communities wherever we live. So a little bit about our mission. So our mission is a little bit of service, but also leadership. We want to develop women with skills to go out and to serve in other organizations and to build upon what they learn at the League. So we're not just a social organization or just serving one organization. We are out there to find the needs in our community to make an impact and make that change. So there's a lot to talk about. I'm definitely a talker, and so I tried to squeeze everything in the allotted time today, which is really hard when you're trying to share 75 years worth of history. But there's a lot of big moments that happened and the League was part of that you may not be aware of, and so I wanted to share a few things that have happened. So if we start in, let me go back. 1967 was the John J. French Museum. The house then was up for purchase and the need to preserve that. So the League members bought that house and held on to it and worked with the newly formed Heritage Society to really impact. Once the Heritage Society raised their own funds, the deed was turned over to them. And the League stayed involved and still provided projects and education to children about the history of the house. Now, that era, what happens with our signature projects is we take on large projects that may be several years, but once we develop that and work with the organization, we turn those projects over to their own boards, to their own organizations to carry on the mission of the work to impact the community. So a little bit more. In 1971 was Leadership Beaumont's development. That was a partnership with the Greater Beaumont Chamber of Commerce, and they're represented here too. We're excited that they are celebrating 50 years and we'll have that class graduate in May. So a big movement there. In 1977, $35,000 was given to the Creative Play Park. And I thought, wow, $35,000 in the 70s, that's a large amount it's a large now, but imagine then. And so I did a good Google search and that equivalents to $158,000 in purchasing power today's time. So a great gift to the community at that time. In the 80s, due to donations, we were able to secure our headquarters home, and that still is there today on McFadden Street. We've been able to keep that house renovated and updated throughout the years. We use it for meeting space and also as a rental for the community. We continued on in the 80s. The purchase of the Women and Children's Shelter was happening during those times as well. And then in 80, let's see. And so in 86, there was a big movement just really focusing on children's risk. And then we went into We purchased with the Galveston County. They had a movement to build a Ronald McDonald House, and we even were a part of that. And that is still in operation today in Galveston County, offering that to families in need. We're going to switch. Oh, next slide. Thank you. Okay. Perfect. So as we entered the 90s, there was a big movement of wanting to focus on children at risk. And through that, a member, Mickey Mahaffey, was a big part of that movement in making the collaboration with police department and Catholic Charities to make that happen. Unfortunately, she had a tragic accident and didn't see those doors open, but the center today is still named in her memory. Also, in the end of 91 was a new campaign that the League started, Who Are We, What We Do, and How We Do It. I added that to the presentation today because the first place that presentation was given was to the Rotary Club in 1991. So I thought it was full circle and so glad that I could be back here today to tell you what we've been doing in the last few years. So then continuing through the 90s, we did focus on the Imagination Station. That park is still over behind Baptist Hospital. That park was a large donation in volunteers. They said it took 5 days to build and 3,000 volunteers stepped on the site to help build the playground. So just another movement into what we were doing. Continuing on, the need to offer services to children in a safe place for families. The Buckner home was built and the League was there on groundbreaking in partnerships with other organizations. So, and then moving on, we went into the Family Resource Center that was built by the League. It was to meet the needs of a community. And I know many ladies here have worked on that and put many hours in that project. I actually met a member last night who was involved with the architect design. So it's just fun to hear the history of the League and things that we don't even realize as current members what came before us. And so moving on, most recently was our Beaumont Children's Museum. Many of you are familiar with that. That was a movement in 2008 to have our own children's museum in our community instead of us traveling to take our kids outside to other areas and to provide that education. So the League started that. We're very honored that now they have their own facility and we can't wait to see where they grow to and what they evolve in the Children's Museum. But a little fun fact, the first museum was called Museum Without Walls. And we took this, I should have put a picture in the slideshow because he's very hard, his name was Stuffy and he's very hard to describe, but he is an oversized, like gingerbread colored cartoon man. But we taught anatomy with him. So he unzipped and all the organs come out and we went to daycares. I don't know if it was more creepy or educational because we pulled all the organs out, then we stuffed them back in and we hauled him out. And if you were on that committee, you had to have a large car, a SUV to shove him in because he wasn't fitting in a 4-door car. He's quite large. So that was a fun time. And again, we can't wait to see where the Children's Museum continues on. But our newest project in 2019, we wanted to do a new signature project. And we started researching and realizing there are so many great nonprofits in our community that are already doing great work and addressing a lot of needs, but that they really were reaching out and needing a lot of assistance. And so we came up with the ONE, and that stands for Our Nonprofits Elevated. And what we will do with that program, it's been 2 years in development stage. And this is the first year that we are opening up applications. We will select in the spring a nonprofit that we will work with hand in hand for a full year. We will offer them our volunteers. We will offer them resources to help with wherever they need us, whether that's exposure, social media. They'll get a great package involving our events and exposure in our Spinnings magazine. So that is coming up. We're taking applications till January 15th, and you can find all of this information on our website. And I'll put that up. It's juniorleaguebeaumont.org or our Facebook page. You can find us there to keep up with information if you know a nonprofit that may be newly developed or really wanting to elevate their mission and what they're doing. So we're excited to do that. Next slide, sorry. Thank you. So how does all these projects come to light? So we have a committee called the Project Research and Development Committee, where they go out and research and get information about critical needs in our community. And so our needs can come from matching either with an organization or a topic that we feel is important in our community that needs to be addressed. So right now, currently, we have many projects that we are working and have committees just dedicated to those one projects. As I was doing a lot of research, I found that one of the first projects that the league did was they set up milk distribution centers, and families could come and collect milk to take to their family so that no child would be without milk. And so I think that it just really comes full circle, because now, we're at the food bank loading food into families' cars. And so we're still doing the mission of where we started in a different version of the time. So I love that. But our projects or research, we found that sex trafficking became a huge topic through the years, that we're on this I-10 and we needed to make sure that we create awareness in our community. So we developed Abolish. That committee does work very closely with Harvest House. We granted Harvest House a few years back a fence and update to their security systems to help them as they have continued their mission. Our Healthy Behaviors focuses on kids and getting them good teaching, good nutrition, teaching them to get off the video games, get out into the community, play a little bit more. So that's our initiative there. We work a lot with the Boys and Girls Haven. Youth, transitioning youth is a big helping kids that are going out of foster care. They're leaving that system and they don't have some of the life skills. So we help teach them with educational classes, life skills, to really just prepare them as they make that journey and leave the families that they've been with. So helping them with college. And that is really fun. At the end, we give them a graduation party and we're able to give them some items and things, whether they're going to college or to an apartment, to help them in the next steps of their journey. Make-A-Wish was a great, I'm sure all of you know Make-A-Wish. That's a big organization granting wishes to kids who are facing some kind of difficult, life-threatening illness. And so through Make-A-Wish, we are able to have volunteers locally. We found out that kids in our area were having to wait extended periods of time because there were no volunteers locally. So the volunteers had to drive from Houston to come meet with kids and make that time. And so our kids were waiting. So we got a team together. We have volunteers now in our community and are able to get those wishes granted a lot quicker for the kids. And then we've talked about Children's Museum, and then Service Squad is where our projects that are maybe 1 or 2 days that organizations need help with, that we can send out volunteers. And we do take applications from nonprofits. You can find that on our website. If you have an event or something that you're going to need a few volunteers, please fill out that application and one of our chairs can contact you about volunteering and how we can help you. So next slide. So a few dates of what's happening around the league. November 9th is the City of Beaumont's proclamation to the league for 75 years and to recognize our active day. So if you're around City Hall, I would love to come join us that day. We'd love to have you. And our active day, this is where we interact as one league in one day and try to impact as many organizations as we can. So we have about 5 organizations that you can see here that we partnered for the day that we will send volunteers to work on their project during the day. So next slide. So I know you're saying, how do you do all this? Well, we do it with fundraisers, with community members just like yourself. Since we were talking about history, I did add a few of the events that were fundraisers in the past where there was a horse show. I think the league is most known to some as the Lanyap luncheons and the cookbook sales that went on for many years. We only stopped selling cookbooks about 2 years ago. We finally sold out of cookbooks. So we've gave away. I think at the end we gave more than we sold. So I'm sure many of you league ladies have some still in your closet. So, and then the garden show, which eventually turned into Main Street Market. We still have our Spinnings magazine. I put a copy of an old version of what that looked like. And then this most current issue that is out now, just updating the community on what we're doing and where we're doing it, a little bit about our members, and then donations. So next slide. Our two biggest fundraisers are Main Street Market. We do that at the Civic Center. If you've never been, it's a holiday shopping market. It is jam-packed 3 days of fun events. We do have our luncheon coming up, and that Eliza Vandecourt is going to be our keynote speaker. She is the #1 bestseller, A Woman's Guide to Claiming Space, Stand Tall, Raise Your Voice. So she will be there at our luncheon. And we have our purse raffle. So this is what we do to raise all the money to turn around and put it back into the community. So next slide. Dancing with the Stars. Where'd Catherine go? Okay. Oh, there she is. Catherine is our reigning Mirror Ball winner. Yes, Hillary's our first-year winner. So we have celebrities with us today. I told Catherine, I was like, just wait for the slideshow. There's good stuff. So we are, yes, Christina is here. Yes, thank you. So we love our dancers. If you have never been or seen this event, mark your calendar. Please come out and join us. It is a phenomenal time with these community members who really come out and get on stage in front of everyone and do a dance. So we raise a lot of money those nights. So these are our two biggest fundraisers that we are able to make a profit. So let's go next. So our theme this year was grow through what you've gone through. In the times that we faced last year, it definitely was a league that adapted, made changes, figured out how to continue the work of the league. We knew that sex trafficking, healthy behaviors, kids that are going hungry would not stop, even become more important during a pandemic. And we knew that we had to continue the mission and the work of the league. So these league ladies really put in the work and continued to just serve. Just like when a hurricane comes, when the flooding happens, we are there. We collect supplies. We go into the neighborhoods. We've given pizza to our neighbors, and we have given hugs to those that are just in a tough time. We were honored after Harvey to be contacted by musician Pat Green's foundation. He had sold t-shirts and collected funds, and they awarded us those funds to turn around and give them into our community through grants. So we were able to donate $28,000 through his fundraising right back into the community, and that went to organizations that were affected and lost art supplies, art items, or music instruments. It had to be in those two categories. So that was a huge impact to be able to, and an honor for us to be able to give back his funds to help organizations recover after Harvey. So the community assistance funds are emergency short-term grants that we are able to give. And I put a few examples here of I could never list all the organizations that have received grants, but did put a few here. Last year we granted over $50,000, and I'm going to go back a little bit. In 2020, February 2020, I was coming back from the National Junior League Conference in Arizona on a plane the last week of February. And I was pumped up. If you ever gone to one of these conferences, training, you have all the ideas, you're ready to conquer the world. And also realizing it would be a big year for the league. When I started my presidency, we'd be in our 75th year. And what could we do to go big? Well, I had this idea and I was unsure. And we went to Dancing with the Stars and we started cleaning up, and Sarah and Lauren were standing by, and I started asking them, what do you think about this idea? And they were like, absolutely. We had a great night. We had made a lot of money. We were excited. And we didn't know that in 2 weeks, the world was shut down. We didn't know what our nonprofits, what would that look like? Would people still give us money? What would happen? But due to these ladies who did not stop, who again became so versatile, we went virtual for Dancing with the Stars. We just cut back our vendors. They made it happen. And with your community support, each and every one who bought a ticket, who supported us, whose business sponsored the league, you made a difference and allowed us to continue. And I think the biggest heroes and the biggest yes is those that say yes on the phone call when we ask you to dance on the stage in front of your whole community. That is the biggest commitment. There's a lot of practices. it's two community members who we pair them together. Many don't have a lot of dance experience or background, which makes it even more fun. And so the dance studios in the community choreograph their routines and they get up and put on a show that night. But many hours between the committee and those dancers go in before that night. But because of all that, I'm excited. If you haven't heard, this year we are going to give away $75,000 in our emergency grant program. So thank you. Yes, it's great. So we have missed the October fall deadline. That was October 1st. Actually, tonight we are going to go through all the applications. I've heard we have record number of applications and record number of dollars requested from us. And, you know, we know that nonprofits are hurting, and makes it even more important to us that our fundraisers are bigger and just raising so much money to put back. But you still have opportunity. We'll take applications till February 4th for those spring grants. So we do divide it up into 2 sessions. So if there's a need that arises, we still have an opportunity to touch a nonprofit in the spring. So if you're interested in that, the application, all the questions are on our website. So we can change the slide. Thank you. Again, our mission is beyond service. What I was talking about is developing leaders, developing skills that we learn from partnering with other organizations, skills that we learn in the league, whether that's skills that we may bring and teach others. And we just want to develop that. Women come to us in different stages of life. They may be empty nesters, new moms, recently graduating, but our active members only stay with us about 5 to 10 years. It's the lifespan of a league member until they go into what we consider sustainer. That's more like the alumni of the league. These ladies continue to mentor the new ladies that are coming in. They help come back and sit on committees. We have about 30 sustaining advisors who work within the league and throughout the league in helping us continue on the mission. But our goal is to continue to impact our community. And many of our sustainers go on to serve on other boards, to go on and impact in other areas of our community. And in 2020, 60 members, current members, reported that they were currently or had served on another board outside of the league. And this is how we stay in touch with our community. This is how we find out about the needs and where the issues are that we can address and make a difference. This is how we can definitely continue to survive as an organization and continue on for the next 25 years. And I know someone will be standing here in 25 years to tell you about all the great work that the league has continued to do throughout. Ms. Mason I was going to have you raise your hand. So again, there's a league member, I think every table represented here. So if you need more information about anything I've talked about, you can change the slide. There's all the contacts. The web, our Facebook, our Main Street Market and Dancing with the Stars have Facebook pages as well. And so if you need any additional information, please see a league member or reach out to us in any way we can help. And thank you all to the league members that are here. This just represents a portion of the legacy that was built that allows me to stand here and tell you about the league. And thank you to the community, just and continue your support. And thank you for having me. Have a great day.
Brenna, thank you so much. It's amazing to hear of all the Junior League has done. I've heard of the Junior League, but I was not aware of all of the projects that you all have done. I just can't get the image of Stuffy spilling his guts out of my mind. It's just with me. And I was thinking all along, and then you were talking about Dancing with the Stars, and I was thinking, have you ever thought of having Stuffy dance at Dancing with the Stars? It could be a hit. Yeah, does anybody have any questions for Brenna? Because we have some time for questions if anybody has any. John. Come back to the mic if you want, Brenna.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yeah, because the Zoom.
Yes. So the question, I was told to repeat the question. So the question is, do we ever offer etiquette classes throughout the league's history? And his wife was a sustaining member from the Houston League. So thank you for her service. We have done that with our transition youth. We were talking about some of the skills. We teach them life skills, etiquette. Some of the projects will offer that to league, and members can attend those as well. Some of the kids from Transition Youth have even never been to a restaurant and sat down and had a meal. So we've been able to take them and let them experience that as well. So yes, sir. Thank you. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am. I don't know. Look, Kathy knows. She's going to help me. Yes. And it was a time too when, Houston was getting a lot of the spotlight. And so it was an opportunity. They did a smaller area community because all the resources were going to Houston. So yes.
Why did they pick music and arts?
Because Pat Green is a musician. And so he wanted it back in his genre of where he could impact, and his fans gave the money. Yeah. Anything else? Okay.
Brenna, thank you very much. It was very interesting. In recognition of your speaking to us and sharing your story of Junior League with us, our club is going to make a gift in your behalf to Rotary International in the area of economic and community development. Thank you. So looking ahead, next week we will have 2 speakers to address a very interesting topic, and that is cryptocurrency and Bitcoin. So if you were wondering what the heck is all that, should I invest all my money in Bitcoin, that kind of thing, we will have Chris Montoya and Trent Martin both via Zoom with us, joining us from Abilene, Texas. So Chris Montoya is Executive Vice President and Chief Equities Manager at First Financial Trust, and Trent Martin is Vice President and Portfolio Management at First Financial Trust. So we'll all be here. They'll be on the big screen, and they'll tell us whether we should stay away from cryptocurrency or get involved. Announcements and reminders. Remember to see Lynn Hill after the meeting if you want to become a ROAR volunteer. She's ready to help you through the process right here today. Also, remember to turn in money for any Wind Down with Rotary tickets you have sold, or pick up some to sell. Cheryl Billieu is available at the back to assist you. And remember to pick up a gift card or a scratch card that you can add to the raffle that we're putting together. Thank you to all our guests for coming today. Dina, did you make sure to get a good picture so we can show Brad how many guests we had today? Good. Rotarians, please remember our theme of the year, everyone bring one. Thank you to everybody up at the front table for helping out. And please stand and say the 4-way test with me. First, is it the truth? Second, is it fair to all concerned? Third, will it build goodwill and better friendships? And fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned? Have a great week and serve to change lives.